Let's go. Welcome to On the Attack with Mack, a podcast meant to inspire, motivate, and even educate you to go out there and win in life. I'm your host, Cornell Mack, and your boy is geeked up because it seems like spring is here today. It was 70 degrees out on the earth here in Western Pennsylvania, and your boy is geeked because we are about to start doing spring cleanups, mowing grass, doing all the mulch installs, and all the cool things that we enjoy doing so much here in the spring. And today we're going to be talking about spring rush and pricing services, raising prices is it's a live show, but raising prices and all of that good jazz. How you can do that and how I've been doing it so that you can use whatever I've been doing to help yourself go out there and win in this lawn care game. I'm not saying I'm an expert or I'm the person who's doing everything perfect. All right, but this is my way and I'm going to share it with you. But if you are watching on Instagram, you are fine. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, do me a favor and comment down below. Where are you checking in from? What was the temperature today? And are you ready to get on those grass cutting go-karts if you do lawn maintenance and get out there to start having some fun? But we start every show with live viewer shout outs, followed by the winner of the week. And we have 3 of them today. And last but certainly not least, my man Marcus Tate's word of the week. But before we get to any of that stuff, while we're having this great conversation that we're going to have today, if you at any point feel like you get something from this show of value, do me a favor and hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed or following the channel wherever you're watching that, or go leave a 5-star review at the podcast. And if you would like to support the channel, you can always do that by checking it out on YouTube, and you can leave super chats, super stickers, all of that good jazz if you would like to support the show because you are getting this good information for free. 99. Let's go. But over here on YouTube, right now we only got a couple people. So start checking in. We got Beeves Landscaping over here, Oak Valley Ground Management in the building. Hand H Lawn is in the building on YouTube. And over here on Instagram, we got my man Clinton Valentine, Generational Wealth 412. Shout out to my man Clinton, who's been tagging me on Instagram for he's been getting some value from the show. So shout out to him. My man D Mack is in the building, my lawn care cousin, Champion Lawn Cuts, Bear Force Lawn Care, Valentine Landscaping, Jay's Landscaping, Steve Robbins 44, Woodbrine All Seasons LLC, my man Mitchell with Myth Go Outdoor Services, one of the OGs of the social media lawn care game, is in the building. We got Lone Wolf Landscaping. He is here as usual from New Jersey. Landon Evanoff, how are you doing tonight? TM Landscaping Services, my homeboy Tommy, the 21-year-old savage, is in the building. Shane's Landscaping is here. We got Brad Edgington, A Bug's Life. My man Josh is in the building. A Cut Above West Virginia is in the building. Let's go. My man Lone Wolf says he's in Neptune. I don't even know where that is. And then over here we got Klimco's Concrete. That is my god brother. He does great work. My man Josh Klimco with Klimco's Concrete. He does an amazing job with the concrete, man. I'm telling you, he did my brother's driveway, back door. We got a doggone NBA hoop back there now. So telling me my daughters ain't gonna be fire at hoops because they damn sure are. But before we get to the motivational minute, let me tell you about the 2026 Win in Life Meetup Service Business Showcase has now crossed the century mark. We have over 100 people signed up. And now I can see what the weather is going to be. And it's looking like it's going to be about 55 to 60 degrees. No rain. This is going to be an amazing event, and it's 100% free. We got some games going on. We're going to have pizza for you and a lemon lineup drink ticket so you can have the most fire lemonade in Western Pennsylvania. Let's go. On Friday night, we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings. We're going to have some food, and maybe if you like libations, you could do that. Saturday from 1 to 4, we're going to be having the meetup. I got a demo area We got some people coming from Kubota with some skid steers and things like that. People will be bringing lawnmowers and whatever type of equipment that they have there, so we can do YouTube videos, show people who are just starting out what they could be, and show people who are older the inspiration that they are to people who are just starting out. Because I remember looking at people's setups when I was first starting out with my just 21-inch push mower, my curved shaft trimmer, and my broom before I got the handheld blower. And I used to be like, yeah, I'm gonna be like that one day. But the people didn't want to talk. So I created this event so that we could come together, fellowship together, create those relationships so that you ain't at the gas station mean mugging people because you can't cut all this grass or do all this work by yourself. So events like this let you take away the walls, because the same walls that keep people out keep people in. All right. So we want to take down the walls so we can have open, right? Open relationships with each other so that we could all be out here in this game winning in life. If you want to sign up for this free event, do me a favor, head to my link tree at Mack_landscaping 412 on Instagram, or you can sign up with the link in the podcast description or in the comment section of this video. That's how you sign up, man. It's going to be an amazing time. So I hope to see you there. It's 100% free. I must say that again. This is free for you. And if you stay for Sunday, then you can come to church with my family and I, and then we will have a brunch to send you off on your way. And that will be what we do. So I hope to see you there March 21st. It is a Saturday, but it's a whole weekend event. If you would like to come through, we got a couple hotels. There's no hotel block or anything like that, but there's two hotel. Well, there's like 8 hotels, but the two I would recommend is the Holiday Inn Express, which is like 5 minutes from where the doggone event's going to be, and then we have the Hampton Inn, which is about 7 minutes from where the event's going to be. So everything is close. I live real close to all types of restaurants and everything like that. So if you decide to come and spend the weekend here with us, man, believe me, you will not go unfed. There's plenty of things to do here in Pittsburgh, especially when it is warm out. You go down there, see the Three Rivers, see the point, see the doggone fountain. There's a whole lot of cool things going on here in Pittsburgh. But now that I've given you that, we got Penn Lawns is in here, my man David Penn. Grass Choppers is in the building. RN Lawn Care is in the building. Keystone is in the building. Adept Lawn Care is in the building. D's Lawn Care Services is in the building. Did I say trifecta already? Trifecta Lawn Services. RN Lawn Care LLC is in the building. 412. He must be from Pittsburgh. Let's go. I'm having some coffee tonight. What are you drinking? Are you having any drinks? Gatorade, Powerade, water? Let me know down in the comments. But that's the Winning Life meetup. I hope to see you there. Now let's get to this week's motivational minute. Yesterday, I was at church. My pastor's name is Pastor Buck. Now, Pastor Buck, he wasn't there yesterday. He has some people that he trusts to be able to take over when he is not there so that we can still get a good word. And one of the things he was talking about yesterday was that your words and your thoughts, they matter. They matter almost more than anything else, because what you think and what you say is what you become, in my experience. And it seems to be the experience of the history of the world. It's in the damn Bible, man. Don't speak negative words over your life. Don't think negative thoughts over your life. Believe in positive actions. Believe in positive people. Believe in positivity overall. It's much easier in life to be a positive person. You get a lot further being positive than anybody that is negative. Ultimately, you get, what is the saying? You get more flies with honey or more bees with honey than you do with vinegar, right? So if you're out here venomous all the time and you're being mean and you're speaking and that's how you think, you're probably doomed to not reach your promised land. But we are on the way to our promised land. And so we got to be thinking positive. We got to be speaking positive over our life, over our family, over our children, over our businesses, over our marriage. We got to be thinking positive thoughts, because there's so much negative stuff. I almost cussed right there, but I didn't. But there's so much negative things going around, right, that it can really weigh you down. But guess what? Positivity is the light, and light extinguishes darkness. All right. So think positive, speak positive, so that you can reach the promised land and not disqualify yourself by being negative, by complaining, by murmuring. These are things that I heard yesterday in church, and they just rang true to me now at the beginning of this season. Is like we need to be thinking super positive. Not that you're going to get every job, but that you're going to get what you got coming to you because you're out there doing the work. All right. So be positive, think positive, speak positive, and make sure that you do not disqualify yourself from reaching your promised land because God got something very good for you because you got started. All right. And that belief is enough. So let's go. All right, let's get to this week's winner of the week. I got three of them. Let me get a sip of water first. Grass Chopper says St. Louis in the building. Shout out to the whole industry. Shout out, homie. But this week's winners of the week, my man, A Bug's Life, Josh Brass. He's been a winner of the week several times, and that's because he's active and he lets me know what is going on, man. He lets me know. So last year, he crossed the 100K mark. He had a baby. And he's been the winner of the week for various things throughout the year that I've been doing this on the Attack with Mack podcast. And this season, he had a great season last season. And this season, he's starting off great. He just purchased a brand new, I want to say it's a Skag and it's blue. He got this blue Skag. I don't know where you get blue Skags from. I seen there's like a green one now for the Grow It Mow It dude. He has green or white or something like that. And now this, my man Josh Brash got the blue deal. So congratulations to him. Shout out to my man Josh. He continues to think positive and be positive, and now the fruits of his labor, he's receiving them. All right, none of it happens if he's negative all the time, but he's been positive, and now his positivity is starting to pay off. So shout out to him. And next we got my man William Hilston. He was a winner of the week before as well. He was a winner of the week because he had two grandbabies being born. And they were born. He sent me a picture of them. They're nice and healthy. All right, and something else is healthy too. His business. He told me he wouldn't even started his business if it wasn't for seeing some of the videos that I've done. So shout out to him for just letting me know that. That makes me feel good. That's why I do this in the first place. And every time I hear someone has done that, it just brings joy to my heart. And so he sent me another update, and he's been spring rush is here. This is why we're about to talk about this stuff. But spring rush is here for him. He's been getting 2 new clients a day for the last few days or so, and he is now up to 50, and he's taking care of 2 hospital complexes as well. So he's out there killing it, man. He's killing it. It is pretty cool that I could be a small little part in him going out there and actually winning in life. So shout out to my man William Hilston, who's always here each and every week supporting the show. And we like to support the people who support us. So shout out to William Hilston. Now, last but certainly not least, I talk about flag football a lot. You guys know I'm a recreational athlete. All right. Paul Jameson might even say I'm a superstar. Okay. But my daughter calls me a couple weeks ago. All right. She says, Dad, she's running track. All right. She plays basketball. She runs track. She does cheerleading. And now at the end of at the end of the school year, it's track season. So I'm like, I've been wanting her to play softball. She's like, I don't want to play softball. I run track. I was like, all right, cool. So she calls me on a Monday. Dad, can you come pick me up at 7 instead of 4 at the school? And I'm like, yeah, for what? And she's like, well, I'm going to try out for flag football. And I was like, what? You know, flag football is now an Olympic sport, right? And they got flag football in the high schools here for the young ladies. So my daughter tells me that, and then she comes home on a Monday. She's like, oh, I love it. This is amazing. I had such a good time, right? On Tuesday, she comes home. She's like, Dad, I'm like the GOAT. I'm out. I'm killing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. I'm like, all right. And then on Wednesday, she finds out that she makes the team. And not only does she make the team, she's a freshman. She made the varsity team. Not only did she make the varsity team, she's a quarterback. Now they have a dope quarterback who's a senior, but my daughter's a freshman. So she's the second string quarterback as a freshman, and she's learning from a girl who's been playing for 3 years, who's awesome. So shout out to her and the leadership that she's going to provide. But my little girl is a quarterback. She's the starter on the JV team. And today they had their first scrimmage. So I get to the scrimmage. My girl is starting center. Now, if you don't know flag football, they're playing 7-on-7, and the center is eligible. They snap the ball, but then they can go out and catch passes. So I get to the game today. As soon as I get there, I'm like, oh, she's on the field. What's going on? My girl's on the field and she's playing center. As soon as I get there, she gets a catch for like 25 yards. I was like, yo, what's going on? So I hurry up. I grab my phone. Now I'm recording the games, recording the individual plays when because she only played offense, she didn't play defense. So I'm recording the plays, and I'm all geeked up. She's snapping the ball good and everything. I gave her a couple pointers. She snaps the ball good, goes out. She ended up in the varsity game. She ended up with 5 catches for about 60 yards. They don't really um, calculate the yards, but I'm just going off my head. So she had some nice runs, made some girls miss, almost scored a touchdown, and was absolutely killing. And we just practiced this yesterday. Because I was telling her, look, you got to show the coaches you could do everything. Just like us landscapers, we do everything. So I'm like, you got to show the coach that you could do other things if you want to get on the field. The more you can do. That's what Coach Tomlin used to say when he was coaching the Steelers. That's how you get on the field. So she got on the field in the varsity game. Now they call it JV, and she goes out there, she plays quarterback. Man, let me tell you something right now. It was more fun watching her play in this game today than any game that I've ever played in my life. I could cry right now. Hmm. My girl was 13 for 20, 4 touchdown passes, no picks. Absolutely killing. She's got pocket presence. Well, if you could call it pocket presence, she's making the rushers miss, throwing. I'm talking about dimes, yo. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was sitting up there, my eyes was. Luckily, I had sunglasses on. My eyes was watering. I was just a proud dad. So shout out to my little daughter, 15-year-old. Her name is Kalia, on her flag football debut as a freshman. Now that I've talked your heads off for long enough, still got to test that jumper. All right, Grass Chopper, I have to get to the gym because your boy's got some LBSs right now. I got to lose some weight. But yeah, so anyway, every week my man Marcus Tate sends me a word of the week so that it can cheer my day up. And he also sends it to various other people. So if you would like to get that, text or DM from Marcus Tate, make sure you go follow Seeds Landscaping on Instagram so that he can add you to his list. I think he sends them all individually, but there's nothing better than having a brother or sister send you some words of encouragement that's going to help to uplift you. Because, like I said, there's so many negative things and people who drain you. You need some people who are going to fill your cup back up rather than just sip from it. But this week's word of the week is what is going on? Oh, here we go. This week's word, nope, that's the wrong thing too. This week's word of the week is future. Future is defined as a time or a period of time following the moment of speaking or time regarded as to come. What is following you? The definition says that your future follows you. This is crazy how he sends these things, and it's always the definition that the definition says the future follows you, what you speak or say. So it is very important to be intentional for things to come. We all want a great future, so let's plan for greatness. We have the ability to command our future. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you a future and a hope. That is from Jeremiah 29:11 in the New King James Version of the Bible. The future. Whew, that is fire, bro. The future. I like to call the future your promised land, where you want to go in your future. Say it out loud, speak it, think positive about it, and then take some action so that you can make the future that you dream of a reality. Not just a figment of your imagination, the thing that you're thinking. You got this stuff in your future. Greatness, abundance, all of the joys of the world are here for your future. So just think about them, be positive, and then go after them. Now, that is the opening of the show, which was kind of long tonight, and I started a little bit late. But we are here nonetheless. My man Josh Klemko. That's awesome. I don't even listen to people that bring you down. Hey, I agree with you, man. Louisville 72. I don't know what that means, but shout out to everyone that's out here watching tonight. Let's get to this week's actual topic. But before we get to that, I will put an Eventbrite link for the Service Business Showcase down in the comments section on YouTube. If you are watching, I believe it'll pop up on Facebook as well. And we'll get that down in this comment section for you now. And if you would like to sign up, do me a favor and just go ahead and hit that link down there, and we'll get you signed up, and we'll see you here in a couple weeks. But let's talk a little bit about pricing now. Let me pull this up real quick. We're going to talk about why spring is the cash engine, minimum service pricing, spring cleanups, getting deposits, and why they equal a commitment. And we're going to forecast April through July or through June. All right, so let's get into it. Do me a favor, comment down below. Let me know what your minimum price is for the 2026 lawn care season, or what your minimum price is if you only do landscaping or power washing, whatever the case may be. What is your minimum price for you to do a service? Let me know down in the comments. But we're going to go over a few things. So let's see. At the beginning of the season, one of the things I always try to do is get whatever it is that I need right at the beginning of the season. Now, why do I do that? Is because at the beginning of the season, I prefer, if I'm going to buy a new piece of equipment, especially if it's something like a zero turn mower or something like that, I personally don't like to have debt throughout the winter. Now, I'm not talking about my trucks. I got two trucks. I got two truck payments, and I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about mowers and small engine equipment, trailers, those type of things. I personally don't like to have debt on those because it stresses me out to have to make those payments when we're not using those pieces of equipment. So my goal is I buy one thing, one big thing a year, whether it's a mower or a trailer or something like that, and if I do some financing for a mower or something, I try and pay that completely off at the end of the year, sometime in November, December, almost like a Christmas present for the business that we have paid this off and now we don't owe anything on it anymore. But the reason I do that is because we got the whole entire season all the way till December to pay that thing off. And so, uh, where was I going with that? That's why the spring is a cash engine. It's where you turn your engine on. Now, hopefully you've done oil changes. Hopefully you've done, your due diligence and getting prepared to be able to go out here and do this work so that you can turn on your cash engine. But the spring is the time where we get to do everything. We got cleanups. We got mulch installs. If you didn't trim shrubs or you got a new client, you got probably shrub trimming to do. You got brand new bed edges that need redefined or spruced up. You got weeds that might need to be pulled. You got your first cuts, and a lot of times you're not probably. We personally probably won't cut right on the first. It will actually be March 30th. This year is the first Monday, but we probably won't cut until that second week. Now, once we get to that second week, the grass probably has grown a little bit at that point. And so those first cuts, especially for a new customer, might potentially be a little higher. And there's a whole lot of other things. I'm not going to get into everything. If there's something that I haven't thought of or I haven't spoke about, put it down in the comments. But why is spring the cash engine? For that reason. You got cleanups, all of that stuff. So at the beginning of the year, get all that stuff scheduled out. I'm literally in the process of doing that today. I went and did 40 assessments on Friday, and then we followed it up with another 32 assessments today. And I'll be sending out some new estimates and things like that for this season. But now is the time, man. Spring rush is here. It ain't playing around no more. It's 70 degrees today. It's gonna be like 77 on Wednesday, even though it's gonna rain. Then it's gonna drop down a little bit for a couple days, and then we're right back up in the 60s. So before long, I'm sure some of you are probably already seeing weeds germinating in flower beds and things like that. So we got to get on some stuff because before too long, everything's going to be green again and growing fast. All right. And we need to be out there ready to kick some ass on these grass cutting go-karts or whatever it is that you use. So um we're gonna those are the reasons, right? So now it is a good time to raise your prices at the beginning of this season if you haven't sent those things out already. We are at the time of this recording, it is March 9th, and we're sending out our stuff to our residential customers now. We've already sent it to our commercial clients, and we're just waiting for the go aheads, right, for approvals and things like that. But now's the time to raise your price. So your spring cleanup minimum price is $400 for landscaping 3,000. I'll let you know. Spring cleanups for my residential or my regular customers on average are somewhere around 125 to 150 because there's just not a lot to do because we've already maintained the stuff. So there's like clean up a few branches or things like that, and maybe the grass is a little longer and we have to double cut it, and so that makes the price just a little bit higher. But other than that, we're good. So anyway, we got spring cleanups, mulch installs, aerations, first cuts, and things like that. And then raising your minimum price. Now, if you have an issue raising your minimum price, I will throw price increase letter in the comments section where you can download it. There is a fee, but you can download it and send it out. It's plug and play. So all you got to do is put your stuff in and then send it out to your customers and let them decide what they want to do. If they don't take it, then you just move on to somebody else. But that price increase letter is down there nonetheless. Now, when you raise your prices, all right, the goal should be to get the people off the bottom. All right. And another thing is, I mean, I hope that there's not people out there still in 2026 charging less than 50 for anything that you do. I don't care if it's a checkerboard size of a front yard. All you got is a little triangle to cut. Like if you got to come there, it should be at least $50 because it ain't just coming there to do that service. You got to drive there and then you got to drive to the next place from there. So make sure that you set yourself a minimum price. This year, our minimum price is going to be $65. I think it was 63 last year. It's going up to 65 for a minimum price, and that's for 4,000 square feet and under. Those yards typically take us between 10 and 14 minutes or so. I'll say 10 and 15 minutes, and we can knock off 4 of those in an hour, 5 of them sometimes in an hour. That's good for us. But your minimum price, it's time to do that now. Another reason why a good time to send your price increase letter is now is because it is the spring rush. So these people who drop you because you raise your price, and in my experience, it hasn't been a lot of drops from raising prices 3, 4, 6, $7. I did 100% one year price raise and lost 2 clients or 3 maybe. But anyway, now's a good time because your phone is going to light up if you've prepared yourself. We talked about that before. We talked about preparing, being on Google, being in Facebook groups and all of those things. And if you've put your leads out there, your phone might not be ringing yet, but it is going to start. Like my phone ain't lighting up right now, but once we get into April and things actually start growing from April through the end of May, that's when you're getting 30, 40 calls a day if you have your stuff set up right. So if you raise your price and you lose some people, don't have negative thoughts about that. Okay, you got to get rid of the people at the bottom so you can increase the people at the top. One of the people who I really like on TikTok is Gibson's Lawn Care, Micah Gibson. He is dope, and if you listen to him, he's not only is he funny, but he just gives you good game. And I think right now he's trying to get 100 cuts. I don't know if he has over 100 or something, but I think he's trying to get his minimum price to $100 a cut, if I'm not mistaken, from watching his videos. And so to do that, you're gonna have some people that are your pet that are paying much lower than that. And so he's going to take off the bottom 10 or 15 clients to add a new 10 or 15 to the top who are going to replace those low paying customers. Because you know what comes with low paying customers? Problems. I have had more problems with low paying customers, and you keep them if you don't raise your price. You keep the low paying customers if you don't raise your price because they got you for being cheap in the first place. We don't want to be cheap. What you do is a professional service. So you got to raise the prices. And it gets so much less stressful when you're making more money with less problems. You make less money and have more problems. I don't even know how to explain that. And that's why I don't understand why we race to the bottom in our industry. It's like, yeah, Max said he's going to cut for 50. So I'll go over here and I'll say, I'm going to cut for 45. I mean, cool, man. You killing us both. You think you're winning, but you actually killing us both because that's just a mentality. And if you start on that mentality and you stay on that mentality, you be working really, really hard and not getting very, very far. I hope that makes sense to you. So raise those prices, get rid of those bottom tier customers and start to replenish the top line people. All right. Now, spring cleanups. Let's get to that. And that raising your prices, what I'm talking about is for your general weekly lawn maintenance stuff. All right. Another thing is you learn a lot more. If when you first started out, you probably didn't know numbers. I know I didn't, right? And I'm still learning them to this day. There's some people out there who are way more advanced than what I am. I'm still learning as I go, okay? But when you first start, you might not have a strategic reason why your price is your price because you don't know your numbers. You don't know how long it takes. You don't know, how much gas you're using, how much trimmer line you're using, what it breaks down when it comes to your insurances for the month, your truck payments, and all of the expenses that go into. When you first start out, you probably don't know a lot of that. And like I said, I'm still learning some of that right now currently. And when you start out and you don't know that, you think, okay, I was an employee, I was making $20 an hour, I was making $15 an hour, I was making $10 an hour, whatever the case was, and then you just say, all right, if I was making $20 an hour, I'm gonna charge $35 an hour. Cause that was my thinking. I was making 18 and 13 at two full-time jobs, right? So someone paid me $35 to cut their yard. It takes me 45 minutes. Well, hey, that's better than the 18 I was making or the 13 I was making, or so I thought. You got to take into consideration there's a whole lot of things that need to happen financially for you to be able to do this job in an efficient manner. Okay. So at the beginning, I didn't have any rhyme or reasons when that's why things were $35. And that's why I was the low guy. I was doing chuck in the truck type shit. And then as I grew, I realized, oh, I got a truck payment. Oh, now I got another truck payment. I'm paying for this mower that's 18, 14, 16, $18,000, whatever your case is. I got an employee. I got to pay taxes. I got to pay all these different things. And if you are sitting around here with these low prices and for your lawn maintenance, you're never going to get ahead. You ain't going to be able to reinvest into the equipment. So again, I know I went backwards a little bit to get back on that pricing and raising that bottom thing, but that's what I'm talking about when I say raise your prices. Now, you need to raise them for everything, but the recurring stuff, like they can't just stay at 50 and be at 50 for 10 years. No, the 4 for 4 is no more. Now it's a biggie bag and it's 5, 6, or $7, and they took a chicken nugget away. Think about that. Wendy's went from $4.28 and you get a junior bacon cheeseburger, fries, a drink, and a 5-piece chicken nugget. That's what it used to be for $4.28. And then one time I came to Wendy's and it was like $5.48 or something. Like they raised it a dollar, whatever, $1.20, and took a nugget away. And I said to myself, what in the world? How you raise the price and take away? How's that happen? How does that happen? I don't know. But Wendy's can raise their price. So you can raise your price too. You're doing something way harder than the people who are at Wendy's, and no shade to anybody working in the fast food industry. I've done it before. But what we do, you got to be more skilled than looking at a piece of paper and squirting a mayonnaise gun or ketchup gun, whatever. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about setting your minimum price. Now, for spring cleanups, some people do flat rates like we talked about. My man says minimum $400. And then some people just go based off of an hourly rate. Me personally, we do hourly rate for spring cleanups with a, I said, $125 to $150 minimum, depending on the property. Uh, and that's how I do it. Now, when you do a spring cleanup, there are some things that can add to your revenue for a spring cleanup. So let's just say your spring cleanup's $400, but all that covers is cutting everything up, putting it in the yard, and mulching it up. Well, sometimes there's too much stuff to do that, and you have to come with a debris loader or a dump insert, a dump truck, a dump trailer, or something like that, and you got to haul stuff away. You got to add that into your price too, right? There's got to be a fee for you taking this stuff wherever you're going to take it, even if you're taking it back to your shop to dump it at your own shop. You still got to do something. You got to drive something if you're going to pay to dump it. And it costs, I think at my place, it's 21 or $22 a ton or something like that. Well, when I get there and I got 4 tons, let's make it 20, it's $80. Am I supposed to cut that 80 out of my profits, or should the customer pay for me having to drive the stuff from their house all the way to the dump site and then pay for that dumping? So you got to have minimum dump fees and things like that. And those are good ways to just add to the ticket price. Because if you could do 4 or 5 cleanups in a day, right? You got the right setup. You got 4 or 5 cleanups in a day, and let's just make it $100 just to make the math easy. You just made an extra $400, right? And you went from here to here to here to here, and then from there to the dump site, and you go dump, but you charged $100, $100, $100, $100. So now that's a $400 trip to the dump site, and it's going to cost you $60, $80, $20, right? So now you just added 320 to, you know, 380 and extra. There's some other expenses that go into that, like fuel and all of there's a lot of stuff, man. I'm not an expert. I ain't Mark Bradley, okay? But you got to take into consideration those things. Now, another thing you can do when it comes to the spring cleanups is this is a good time for you to be able to upsell things. So now you already got the customer for mowing, right? We're just going to say that we got a customer, we got a new customer for mowing. We got to come do a spring cleanup. Now, if this is the first time you ever been to that house, cool. You come do the spring cleanup. You pull all the weeds, you trim all the shrubs, you do all of these things. You're going to start to notice some stuff like they need new mulch, like their garden bed edges need done. Maybe you have a pressure washer, their driveway's dirty. Maybe you do window washing like my homie Keith Kalfis, and their windows are dirty. Maybe you've been watching YouTube videos and you've seen soft wash videos, just like the pressure washing videos, and you see that their house got algae growing on one side of it. So you offer up a house cleaning or a soft wash or a roof wash. I seen people charging six, seven, eight, 1,000, 1,200, $2,000 to do roof cleanings, and all they do is go up on the roof, spray some sort of bleach stuff on there, cover up the plants, put a bag on the gutters and all of that, collect all the water, and then leave after they spray their chemical up there. And then the chemical dries, and all that stuff just evaporates. Sometimes they got to use a little broom, but $600. I mean, I ain't getting on the roof though. So there's that. But again, this is the perfect time for you to be able to do some upselling. All right. And if they already trust you with this, you could be the one-stop shop. You don't want to be that guy who isn't upselling, then you're coming to do the mowing and be me and have someone there putting mulch in, and you like, damn, I could have done that. But I ain't try to upsell them. And maybe you just starting out, you don't got logos on your stuff that say what you do with services and everything, right? Maybe you don't have a trailer yet. Maybe you don't have a website yet that says you offer these type of options. Whenever you send out your estimate, maybe you didn't have things where they could click it like I do on Jobber. Shout out to Jobber, 14-day free trial. Go dot getjobber.com/Mac will get you a 14-day free trial. But maybe you didn't have that, right? So you wasn't trying to upsell. This is a great time for you to upsell. They are already a hot lead. They cooking actually. They already hired you. You've already gained some semblance of trust. Now, go out there and be a dope business owner by upselling. I remember whenever I worked at Foot Action, whenever I was younger, that's where I met my wife actually. She came to Foot Action one day to buy some shoes for a kid. 20 years later, good life. Anyway, I was in there and when I worked there, I was selling shoes. And the reason I got the job there is because I was buying Jordans every 2 weeks. All right. The retros and everything that came out, I was getting them. I had like 60 pairs of Jordan. I actually sold them to put a down payment on my house, which is kind of fair. I appreciate you, Mike. I want to be like Mike. But anyway, I had a supervisor. Her name was Vicky. And Vicky used to be like, look, the people are coming here to buy shoes, but we don't only sell shoes. Look around, bruh. We got jerseys over here. We got pants over here. We got socks down here. We got sprays over here. The waterproof. We got suede and nubuck cleaner. We got shoestrings. We got basketballs. We got backpacks. You could order stuff online. Your main job is not to sell shoes. They sell themselves. Your main job is to upsell. We want to have multiple, and they had percentages back in the back on this piece of paper. It had the employee's name and all of that stuff, and then it would say what your percentage was. And if you was a low percentage person, hey, they might ship you to another store, just fire you, right? Because you're not doing what they asked you to do. The shoes sell themselves. We got to upsell all of this other stuff around with the shoes. So if someone comes in, I remember I got some Cordell Stewarts. They were blue and they were black. Or they were black and they were blue. All right. And then in there, they had some Jordan stuff that was blue and black. And they had blue and black socks. And they had blue and black shoestrings. And I wanted the shoes to stay nice. So I got the water repellent. I bought the little plastic things to stick in the shoes so that they don't crease, because people, when they walk, they try not to crease their shoes because they're expensive, right? And I bought all of that stuff. Those are upsells, right? You already sold the shoes. You already got the client. Now it's your job to match them up, get them the shoestrings they need, the damn socks they need, get them the dope fit so that they could go and make their TikTok videos or whatever the hell they about to do with this stuff. But you got to be upselling. Now, we're getting a little long in the tooth here. I want to talk to you about what I do when it comes to lawn maintenance for the residential side. Commercial's a little bit different. We bill the end of the month after services have been rendered. Okay. And then we have a net seven. I deal with mom and pop, family owned businesses rather than the Costco's, the Sam's Clubs, the Walmarts, those type of things. I try to steer clear of those and go with where I could talk to a person. Okay. Now, one of the things that I truly, truly believe is I call it the fast food method. And I have a YouTube video on it, got probably like 40,000 views. But the fast food method, when you go to Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, you name your fast food place. Those are two of my favorites. All right. But when you go there, I've explained this on here before. You go in the drive-through or you go in the store, what do? Order your food first. Tell them what you want. Then you pull to the first window. Some of these places are getting rid of the first window. Not only got one window, you pay and get your food there. But the traditional way is you go to the first window, then you pay for that order that you just made, right? And then you move up to the second order, and then they mess it up anyway. So sometimes you don't even get what you paid for, right? But that's how it works. Order, pay, get your food. I believe it should be the same way for us. Because what we do a lot of times is we order, give them the food, and then come back a month later and ask to be paid. No way, Jose. Come on, man. We got to change the damn game. We got to flip the script. My man, Justin White. Unfortunately, we couldn't do the show. I had to cancel last minute last Wednesday, but we're going to reschedule for April at some point with my man, Justin White. But he talks about being a disruptor. and how you can change the game. You got to change the game. All right. So I got so damn tired of cards being declined or not getting paid for a month or a month and a half or not at all when it came to the residential side. And I said, hey, fast food. All right. Now I've explained this time and time again, but they're going to go through their call first, right? Now I'm answering the phone because we are trying to grow a little bit more. But before I wasn't answering the phone, there was a voice. There is a voicemail, and they would go to the voicemail. The voicemail would say, "Go to the website." The website would then have a form on there. They would fill the form out. I'll get an email. I'll see where they're at and all of that stuff. Boom. Oh, I want the yard. Cool. I send them the estimate. They electronically sign it, and you got to get a deposit. All right. This is the key to this whole entire thing. Remember, order, pay, get your food. Order, pay, get your food. So once they go through that process, and there's another reason why they have to do this, right? Before, when I wasn't answering the phone, the reason is the same thing that the low paying customers do is what people who won't follow instructions do. So they could be a high paying customer, but they don't follow instructions. That is just as frustrating to me as not getting paid. So if I want the right customer, I put them through a process to weed out the weak. Okay, so if you can't go through the website and fill out the form, which gives me the things that you're going to be trying to tell me on the phone, but I get to cut out all of the bull crap about your dog and your daughter going to Princeton and your son serving in the military, and we love our military, our service members, and our emergency staffers here, and all of that stuff. But when it comes to doing your lawn maintenance, what I mean, ma'am, sir, all due respect, thank you. But we've been on this phone for 45 minutes. Do you want the service or not? Right? I got tired of dealing with that. So I said, I'm gonna put some friction in here. Right now, if you really want to work with me, you'll go through that website. Now I get the information. What do we need? Phone number, address, email address, and what is the oh, mental lapse right there. Oh, their name. How could you forget that? So name, phone number, email address, and the address to their house. Okay, that's the first step on the order form. All right, now I got that information. They have put their order in. They need lawn maintenance, spring cleanup, whatever the case may be. They want an estimate. Now I go and do the estimate. If it's the lawn maintenance, most of the time I'm doing them online. And if it's not lawn maintenance and it's something else, I have to put eyes on the property, then I'm gonna go out and put eyes on property and see what we need to do to make the job get done. And then I'm gonna send them the thing out. But when it comes to getting that deposit, right? We want to get paid first. So now that they made their order, I put 100% deposit. This is for lawn maintenance. 100% deposit. If it's a landscaping job like a mulch install or something, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't done a lot of new mulch installs for people who have not been contract like one and done jobs. I haven't done those very often. All of my mulch jobs have been primarily for customers that I already have because it's only me and Captain Jack, and we got to stay efficient, right? So if they have a landscaping job, we require 50% deposit, which is if their mulch is $1,000, we're gonna need 500. All right, off top, off rip. That's how it works. But for regular lawn maintenance, we're doing 100% deposit. That covers their first mow. Now, in the verbiage of that, I have some caveats in there that says if your grass is, 4 feet tall or whatever, there's a hill or there's a gate or you got a swimming pool or something we couldn't see, we can rescind this completely or we can make it higher to fit what we're going to actually have to do when we get there. Because one thing you don't want to do is give someone a price, let's say it's $50, and then they've signed it, and then you schedule it, and then you show up and the yard is 5,000 square feet, just like the thing said. But it's also got 6 feet of grass in it and tree trunks growing from locust trees. I think those are the ones that are like connected and they start growing if you cut them down. I can't remember. But anyway, if you pull up to that, well, they've already signed it's $50. If you don't do it for 50 and you didn't put a caveat in here, they very well might go to Facebook or something. This is the thing where everybody's trying to air people out now. All right. And they might go on Facebook or give you a negative Google review because you said it was going to be 50. And what they will never say when they say something negative is what they did. Well, ma'am, sir, yeah, I said it was $50 for your 5,000 square foot thing, but I got there. You got a gate. I can only get a 21-inch push mower through. The grass is 6 feet tall. How? Did you? They don't say none of that though. They just say, "Hey, he said he was gonna do it for 50, and he didn't." One star. He don't want to work. They lie. Blah 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 blah. That's what happens, man. Let me know if that has happened to you, and I'll try to get to a couple of these comments before we close the show. But this is why I say you got to get a deposit. Deposit equals commitment, right? You can't get on my roster if you're going to waste my time. How do I know you're not wasting my time? Because you've paid. Now, some people might say, well, Mac, you can't do that here. My market, you can't. How can you get paid before you do the work? Well, ask Amazon. You've paid before you ever got the product. And every other thing besides a sit down restaurant. And there's probably some other things, but those are the things that I could think of where you actually make your order, get your food, eat it, and then pay. That shouldn't be our reality, in my humble opinion. Now, if that's not what you believe, fine, more power to you. We're all entitled to our own opinions, and this is only mine. And all I say is listen what I gotta say, whether you agree or you don't agree, listen to other people and then formulate the best opinion in the best situation and the best way for you to handle things because this is how I handle things. And it is not the end all be all. I ain't perfect. I don't know that I'm doing everything right. Okay. And I would never sit here and lie to you. However, I will say that deposits equal commitments. And these things have literally changed my life and my family's life by just getting paid first. All right. Especially when you're doing residential stuff, man. If you're locked in on residentials, the prepaid method. Now, let me get back. Amazon, exactly what I was saying before. When someone says to me, I can't do that here in my market, or I have mostly old people. Man, old people order Amazon and DoorDash. They order all that stuff. Now, if you set yourself up and you look professional, like when you go to Dick's Sporting Goods online, I just bought something from for my daughter for football. When you go on there, their website's professional looking. It looks professional. It coincides with the set with their branding across whatever they do. And if your stuff does that too, and you get some good reviews on Google, which gives you social proof and allows people to trust you without knowing you, and if you add a cherry on top and you make any type of content that is of value, whether it's showing what you do or teaching people how to do things, that's going to help you uh, gain some authority when it comes to this stuff. All right. And then I'm telling you, it's not very hard to get these deposits when all of your stuff lines up and it all matches across the board. How you deliver your invoices, how you look online, how you speak when you talk to them, how you answer emails, all of these things take down people's walls so that they're willing to pay you because they're willing to pay Amazon. They're willing to pay Walmart. They're willing to pay DoorDash. They're willing to pay Uber. Everybody got their card saved places. And then you say, I can't get paid first. You pay for that Uber before it gets there. Whether you leave a tip or not is on you. But before it gets there, they send it to you. They charge that card. You don't just get a ride and then pay for it afterwards like you did in New York in the taxi days. All right. So don't be like that. Now, as we get ready to wind down the show, do me a favor. If you're getting some good value from this show, my man says 27 likes. Oh, appreciate that. 27 likes or 27 here and 8 likes. Y'all like doing free work like this stream. Hey, I appreciate that, Jeremiah. I do. And he's a channel member. I appreciate you looking out, bro. But anyway, now forecasting April and June. April through June, revenue goals, weekly targets, and daily numbers needed. That's literally what I'm doing right now, is setting those revenue goals. We want to do somewhere around 18 to 20 a month, if we can. And it I don't know about that currently right now, as we're waiting for some more things to come in, but we're again getting out there. I got a uh, a golf cart. So I'm gonna be driving around my neighborhood because this is where I want to grow more, is just being in my neighborhood. Another thing that we got to contend with, and why you need to be raising prices, is we'll talk about these revenue goals here in a second. Is the price of gas is going up. In case you haven't noticed, there is a war going on right now with Iran. And this ain't to talk about politics or anything, because I do not care about that stuff. It's not something I think about. But I do think about these gas prices, and they're getting high. 2 days ago, or 3, 4 days ago, it was $2.89. Today I filled up, it was $3.76. So we're damn near a whole dollar higher, and it doesn't look like it's gonna get any better. I seen $7.81 over in California. I've seen $5 and 22 cent or something up in Washington State. So these gas prices are about to get even more crazy. Probably something like they were back in those Katrina days when everything was shut down and it was really hard to get gas. So if you are still charging $40 or whatever, and you ain't sending out price increase letters, and you're not raising your prices for new customers that are coming in, I'm not exactly sure how you're gonna make it if gas prices get to 5, 6, 7, $8. I mean, you can add in some stuff in your agreements and things like that, that kind of protect you from that, like upcharging. If the gas gets to so high, we're gonna add this amount of dollars to your thing to cover those costs. But it's gonna get worse before it gets better. So if you raise your prices, you have a life raft, so to speak, right? When the tsunami coming because I remember during COVID, it was like $4.50 or $4.26 for pretty much the whole time I had my dump truck. And the dump truck had a 52-gallon tank. It was costing me almost $300 every 2 days to fill up the gas tank. Boy, was I happy when I got the F-350, and it went down to like $94 instead. But now I just filled up my 1500 today, and it used to cost about $66 to fill it up, and it was $96 today. So, my goodness gracious, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. So make sure that you're prepared. My man Dominic Wynn says the gas prices are going to put Chuck in the trucks out of business. Ain't that the truth? We'll get to a couple comments here in a second, but like I said, revenue goals for each month, especially in those early months, or sometimes it's higher, but we try to get to 18 to 20. And if we can get higher than that, awesome. The best month I ever had was 39 in a month, and that was the month I quit my job. And it was during the spring rush, because we had mulch installs, we had bed redefinings, we had shrub trimmings, we had leaf cleanups, we had spring aerations. Right, I only did them one time, spring aerations, and that was the year, and we absolutely killed it. And I also did a couple landscaping jobs, and when I say, I thought to myself at that point, what, why did I wait this long? I should have been did this. I wish I'd have done this when I was 20 years old, but I didn't know. So anyway, if you want to hit those revenue goals, then you have to pick the goal and then work your way backwards, right, to figure out how you're going to get there. It's like starting a maze. Every time we go to a restaurant, they give the kids a crayon, a double-sided crayon. It's usually orange and yellow and green and blue, the primary colors. And there's always mazes on there. My 6-year-old's like, Daddy, let's do the maze. Let's do the maze. And she tries to start on the outside. And I'm like, nope, start on the inside. Work your way out to the exit. You'll see it better. And that's the same way we have to do things with our goals. And so you set the goal, and then you work backwards from the goal, creating steps to reach said goal. So if you want to reach a monthly goal, you have to break it down into weekly goals, and weekly goals down into daily goals, and maybe even daily goals down into hourly goals. And then that will help you get to whatever your ultimate goal is, your promised land. So that's just the simple formula. So weekly targets and then your daily number. I looked at some things today and I was like, dang, man, some things I wasn't taking into consideration was, the hour long drive I was doing there and back, the drive times in between one property to the next. Because at the end of the day, your time is from the time you leave your house to the time you get back home. That's the working day. The whole time you're away from your life, your family, and all of that stuff. From the time you walk out of your front door, that's when the clock starts. To the time you walk back in your door, and I guess turn your computer off and all of the things that you have to do even when you get here, that's when the day ends. So a lot of us are working 12, 14, 16, you know, 20-hour, 18-hour days because we want to be successful and win in life. And so we got to break those things down so that we can. It looks like it says once your live stream hits 1 hour, it disconnects. Most users want to come and re-edit. It disconnects. I don't know what that means. It's trying to remove my Instagram. I guess it just cut the Instagram people off, so they're gonna have to start coming and watching on YouTube. And we got 32 people watching right now. I appreciate you guys. All right, so yeah, all right. So daily targets, all of that stuff, you have to break it down because everyone's different. And I don't know what your expenses are, what your family needs are. I don't know any of that stuff. So set your revenue goal and then go after it. Right? Write down all of your expenses, all of your things you need to live the life that you want, and make sure you're hitting those goals, and then set the revenue goal and the savings goals and checking account goals. All these different goals, you get the opportunity to set them and then work your way backwards to get that result that you want. So um, that's pretty much the show. Let me go back in here. I guess I don't even need to go to Instagram since they cut. What doesn't? I don't know if they cut it off or not, but it looks like it did. Anyway, let me get in here. We'll go through and see if we got anything. We're turning Christmas lights customers into lawn care customers. You already know the money. That's dope. Dominique Wynn says we're turning Christmas light customers into lawn care customers. You already know they got the money. Ain't that the truth, man? Ain't that the truth? Uh oh, Grant and Sons was in here. I appreciate it. So Northborough, Northborough. Man, I can't talk. Northborough Mow and Hall says, "Do you have a specific deck height for each yard?" We try during the spring to cut down to 4 inches if we can. A lot of times it won't work. So sometimes we're cutting out 4.5 inches. Sometimes we're cutting on 4 and 3/4. If we're taking anything that's tall grass down to short, we're going to be at transport mode. But the ultimate goal is to be around 3 inches. But typically, we're going to be around 4 inches. Is like a safe median, but 325 to 375 is probably the sweet spot for us here. But in the spring, it's very difficult to get it down there without having to triple cut here. So the specific deck height, it kind of just varies based on the yards because sometimes, especially when you're using zero turns, if you deal with a property that has, bumps on it and things like that, it's almost inevitable that you could scalp things. And so if it's a brand new yard or a yard that has bumps, you want to keep that deck kind of as high as you can. And then also, the higher the grass is cut, the more pronounced the stripes are. Um, so the stripes pop here in Pittsburgh. We got cool season grasses, Kentucky bluegrass, ryegrass, perennial. I think it's perennial ryegrass, zoysia, and Kentucky bluegrass. It's called Penn State mix, and that's what we have here. And that stuff stripes up phenomenal. And so the higher that we cut it, the better the stripes look. And customers care. And they care about how their stuff looks. Now, I will say this though: if you cut out 4 inches, best believe here in Western Pennsylvania during the spring rush, during the peak growing season, you're gonna get another 6, sometimes even 8, maybe even 10 inches of growth in a week, and it's absolutely insane when that happens. And it's been happening the last 4 years, and then once we get into late June, we usually hit a drought. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes one time it was 3 months, and then at that point you slowly get that grass to be cut down. But 4 inches makes it drought resistant. Do we have any looking to start a dog poop business landscaping? Y'all keep it up. That's fair. Let me see. Do we have anything else in here? If not, we're gonna get to the last shot. It looks like it's it. The people on Instagram have been cut off. My man Spence Crisco says, I'm he said he's in California. The time zones are crazy. I hope you're having a good trip. He's in California in 2 weeks. He'll be up here in Pittsburgh. That brings me back to this. Hey, listen, this is about to be probably the most fire spring meetup that we've ever done. All right, we're gonna have a rock paper scissor showdown like I always do. I'm gonna give away a starter mowing starter kit. What the? I don't know why I'm having so much trouble talking. I'm gonna give away a mowing starter kit. Right, so 21-inch push mower, a string trimmer, and a handheld leaf blower. That's what I started with. After I got done with the push broom, I went ahead and purchased a Troy built handheld blower. Now I'm gonna give you some more high quality stuff than that. But if you win the rock paper scissors showdown, you will win a starter setup. So we've had winners in the past. My man, can't remember the guy who won it last year, but my man from 412 Landscaping, CJ, he won it the year before that. Wish I could remember Cuz's name. Not won it last year, but yeah, we've given that away, and then this year I haven't totally figured out what the prize will be, but I'll be debuting a new game called the Cornhole Challenge, where we'll line up 10 cornhole boards and we'll have distances. You'll throw your thing. If you get it in, you move on to the next distance. If you don't, you are out. And we will have one winner, and that winner will receive a prize. So yeah, it's gonna be dope, man. I hope to see you there. Like I said, we'll have setups from different shapes and sizes. There's over 100 people signed up from 16 different states. People coming from California, Washington, Florida, Tennessee, Boston. That's Massachusetts. I hope that's how you say that. Boston, uh, Ohio, Michigan. There's a whole lot of different places that are going to be represented here. So come and create a relationship that's going to actually help you. These are the relationships that will put money in your pocket, that will give you a sound mind, that will have people in your corner who ain't talking stuff about you because you decided to start a business and they didn't. Instead, you will have people here that are like, what information do you need and how can I help you? You want to ride this mower? You want to see this truck? What do you want to know about this type of trailer versus that type of trailer? This type of truck versus that truck? These mowers versus those mowers? Like, there's so many different things that are going to happen there. On top of the lemon lineup lemonade, the free pizza, it is family friendly. You can bring your dog. All right, we've had dogs there in the past. You can bring your kids. My wife and children will be there. So I hope to see you there. My man Northborough Mow and Hall, he says, if it gets insane, do you cut 1/3 of the grass? That is the goal, is to cut the top third off. The problem is in the spring, it's impossible to cut. You cut a third off, then you got to cut it again, cut another third off, cut it again. Like, nah. So in the spring, it's impossible. We're doing like over 90 properties. We can't triple cut everything. So in the In the best circumstances, that's what you want to do is cut the 1/3 off. But it don't happen till probably July, and if you're having that drought in August, you're in trouble. But yeah, so that's it. Do we have any other questions? Georgia is Bermuda and Zoysia. Charge more for Zoysia in the South. That Thatch is insane. Yeah, it is crazy. But let's get to the last shot. I want you, first of all, I appreciate you guys watching tonight, coming through, commenting, sharing encouragement with one another. And oh, uh, anyway, I don't know what's going on. The last shot is we talked about setting goals here a second ago. All right. And we talked at the beginning of the show about the future and words and the things that you think. Okay. Now, if you want to get to that future, the last shot is to do something tomorrow. And here it is: create 5 daily affirmations. Write them down on a note card, put them in your phone, put them on a piece of paper and keep it in your wallet. But write down 5 affirmations that make you feel good, that make you believe in yourself, that make you believe that the future that you see, the dreams that you have, that these affirmations will help you to complete them. So I don't know what they are. I don't know if it's I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I don't know if it's, I'm a good person. I don't know if it's I work hard. I was born to win in life. Whatever those 5 things are that give you goosebumps, that make you feel something inside, right? That make you sometimes they make you cry. Tears of joy, sometimes it's tears of regret, sometimes it's just tears of knowing that what happened to you happened for you and now you're better because of it, even though it might have been negative. So write down 5 things that make you feel good, that make the hair raise up on your arms, right? That makes your brain feel I can do this. All right, write down those 5 things and then start to say them out loud every day to yourself when you wake up. You can have more than you've got if you become more than you are. That's one of the best ones. I like that. Right? But I got a whole bunch of them. I ain't gonna go into what mine are, but you need to find out what yours are. I don't care if you get them from an Instagram reel, if you watch some YouTube videos, if you got them from this or some other person that your grandfather, your grandmother, some teacher. But there's been people who have said great things that made you feel a way about yourself, that told you that you was a superstar, that told you that you were born to win, that told you that you were born to take dominion over everything on the earth. Write down those affirmations, say them out loud. Start thinking positive, start speaking positive, and then go out there and get your promised land. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. I wish you nothing but success. And remember, the creator created you to be creative. So get out there and create whatever you want in your life because you deserve it. I'm out. Peace.